with a slight heart flutter. This Dai. Indeed, he is someone the military district is looking for. What a powerful supernatural ability! However, he didn't show it, but chose a sleeve brow, embracing with both hands, dragging 2 wind eggs calmly. Chen Mo, 21 years old, born in an orphanage, once worked at the family supermarket. Superpower, able to manipulate metal steel balls and affect the bullets. Preliminary judgment. It should be able to control metal. I'm right, aren't I? Liao Ruyu spoke calmly and unhurriedly. To be honest, although the surface seems calm and serene, but at this moment, the heart cannot help but continue. Pen jumps straight up. After all, I'm a second-tier ability user. Just now, when Chen Mo used his abilities, they didn't even react at all. This indicates, at least the other party, just like oneself, both are second-level abilities users. Even stronger. You can kill me now. Regarding the news from the North China military region, you wouldn't know anything about it. Liao Ruyu expressed her own worth. We Longgang Group. I don't want to be a good dog for the military district. At least, I'm here. I can guarantee you are in Huibai City, not to be discovered by the military district. It's still the same saying. Cooperation. How is it? Chen Mo stared at his beautiful and delicate face for a long time. Suddenly, the blades before me. In an instant, it turned into a puddle of liquid. Returning to the realm of deception, Chen Mo said with slightly sweaty palms, Speak. What kind of collaboration method? Now I'm myself, not only to search for fish. You must always be on guard against the military district personnel, taking action against oneself if the actions in Huibai City are exposed, inevitably limited in every aspect. Before the Dominator's ability reached the 4th tier, Chen Mo did not want to engage with an entire military region. Liao Ruyu's face turned pale. The beautiful eyes gazed brightly at Chen Mo, immediately spoke up. I want you to join my Longgang Group. How about becoming mine? Chen Mo smiled, said with a hint of playfulness. This is what you call cooperation. To become yours. Is it like that ability user from before? I have no interest at all. Liao Ruyu's classical Chinese, delicate little face, couldn't help but blush. Jiang Xidao, your strength. He is not the kind of person that Feng Tianyu can be compared to. If you join my Longgang Group, from then on, we were family. Chen Mo, change it. Liao Ruyu, sigh. Unfortunately, I didn't pay much attention either. Said, it's fine if you don't want to. Since it's a collaboration, there must still be sincerity within the scope of my Longgang strength. I can assure you, there is no person named Chen Mo appearing. To be honest, you have offended the military district. I am actually very willing to be friends with you. Liao Ruyu threw a flirtatious glance. She continued with a light laugh. I want you to replace me at Longgang Group. A solution for a chicken to transform into something else. With your strength, it should be a piece of cake. Chen Mo replied without hesitation. Sure. Liao Ruyu clapped and exclaimed in admiration. Refreshing. What about you? What do we need to do? Chen Mo. News from the military district. You can also use your strength. Go find someone for me. Looking for someone. Liao Ruyu frowned. This request is not uncommon. No matter if it's in the military district, still within Longgang Group. Almost everyone wants to share with their friends and family. Take it back to a safe place. News is currently scarce. If you can be sure, your friend is in Huibai City. It can be worth a try. Liao Ruyu did not fully agree either, but said, "We at Longang Group can only do our best. Things are not the same as they used to be. Things are not the same as before. Let's not talk about the person you're looking for yet. Are you still alive? Northern City is so big. I want to find someone. It is undoubtedly like finding a needle in a haystack. I think you should understand. This is not an easy task." Chen Mo nodded. "I know. Liao Ruyu. What is your name?" "Chen Mo. Tang Xuanyu." "Woman." Liao Ruyu was taken aback, showed a look of bewilderment. Her face was filled with gossip. "Hello, fellow villager. Clearly this is about someone named Tang Xuanyu's woman." Extremely interested, Chen Mo glanced at her. No words were spoken. "Liao Ruyu. Do you know? Where is she roughly?" "Student." "Still." Chen Mo shook his head. "Self and the fish, the first time we met. It is already a silent test. It happened several years later. Only no, the fish are in the city of Huibai. As for the fish before the silent test, what do you do? She seldom mentions it. Should. Still a student." Chen Mo said. "Liao Runyu." She furrowed her willow-like brows, feeling a bit strange. "What does it mean to should?" Chen Mo said honestly. "I'm not sure." Liao Ruyu sighed. "I understand. This matter. I will do my best. I'll help you do it. Our message. I will also go ask the people from the military district. Do you know? As for whether it can be found or not, then we can only leave it to fate." Chen Mo lowered his eyes. The gaze flickered. Rather than being like searching like a headless fly, might as well take advantage of it. This North China city, the power of the local tyrant. Liao Ruyu pondered for a moment and said, "The sensitivity of your identity, directly from the highway entrance. Entering Huibai City, that's unlikely. People from the military district. Do not trust us. At the entrance, not just only, our people exist. Chen Mo, you will sneak in later. In our team, join us. Returning to Huibai City. As for the pet beside you, speaking of this." Liao Ruyu lowered her forehead. "Can't help but feel a bit of a headache. According to the news from the military district, Chen Mo's pet. Truly extraordinary. Similarly, it is also Chen Mo. One of the most notable characteristics. You don't need to worry about Qiong Qi. I have a way to help him hide," Chen Mo said. Liao Ruyu smiled brightly. "Directly approach." Patted Chen Mo's shoulder. "In that case, let's go over there first. Wait at that intersection. My people will probably be here soon. At that time, taking you into North Huibai City." Speaking, carrying a pleasant fragrance, Liao Ruyu directly sat down. "My own black motorcycle." Put on the helmet. Twisted the throttle. Spoke in a soft voice. Left. Buzzing. The engine roared like thunder. Liao Ruyu was lying flat on the motorcycle, like the dark-clad queen. In an instant, dust was kicked up and scattered. Chen Mo's face showed no emotion. There are too many fluctuations. Turning to look at Qiong Qi. "Qiong Qi, let's go." At a broken intersection split into two halves. Buzzing. A huge noise came. The black motorcycle jumped high. Just crossed over. The highway that split in two. HMBH. Gently landing on the ground. Arrived in this area. The highway here is vast. All of them were from the Longang group. Cleaned up. Not a single living zombie can be seen. Liao Ruyu made a sudden move. Stay in place. looked back at the approaching Qiong Qi. Uncontrollably, a smile broke across his face. Spoke softly, "I see you, pet. It seems that this Kawasaki of mine is better." "Good." The seated Qiong Qi. He let out a low growl of discontent. Chen Mo glanced around. This place happens to be a extremely high-speed bridge, surrounded by mountains, desolate and uninhabited. It is utterly desolate. This is it. Wait here. My person should arrive soon. It's did. Liao Ruyu was unaware. He took out a bag of chocolate from his purchase. Handed it over. "Are you eating?" Chen Mo shook his head. "Just take out a piece of bread." Started chopping. Liao Ruyu arrived at an edge. Directly sat down. Sat down on a rock. Eating chocolate. While saying, "I heard from the military region over there. Although you killed Lin An's son Lin Shu, but Tianhai City, there are still over 100 survivors. Saved by you. Chen Mo, why did you kill him? He has a grudge against you." Liao Ruyu glanced over with some curiosity. "It's not just him. Even the people from the military district. It's still unclear now. An ordinary one. No more ordinary guy. Why do we have to kill Uncle Lin? What is the motive for murder? What's the reason? Nothing at all. Is that Uncle Lin?" Chen Mo's eyes flickered. Mentioning this name again. He is already calm and unperturbed. "Indeed. Uncle Lin before the end of the world. Just a stubborn official's second generation. I haven't had a chance to do anything yet. But these cannot influence. His determination to kill himself." Chen Mo does not intend to explain anything. "Because of the apocalypse, it doesn't matter if one person's life is lost." Seeing that he was unwilling to say more, Liao Ruyu also left without asking much. Twisting her hair, whispered, "The Lin family was not ordinary even before the apocalypse. The apocalypse has arrived. When it comes to doing things, they become even more reckless. The leader of the 6th War Zone has a close relationship with the Lin family. Everything that is being done now, there are shadows of the Lin family everywhere. I estimate that after the central matters are settled, they will live here for a long time. The strength of one person, even if you are strong. It's impossible to compete with the military district. So many people. How about joining my Longang group?" Liao Ruyu said with unwavering determination. Chen Mo's eyes were calm. Said, "When did I say that? I have become my own person. Your greatest asset. It is the power of Tianquan. Gained the power of Tianquan. All alone. It is like 1,000 troops and 10,000 horses. Except for what Chen Mo believes in. Only one's own strength. A god subdued by Tianquan." Chen Mo said no more. Said calmly, "You want me to solve one. What is it?" "I remember in my own impression. There is nothing particularly special in North China City. There is nothing particularly special. There are no deities at all. A mutated freshwater crocodile mentioned this matter." Liao Ruyu raised her face. A hint of hatred emerged at the beginning. It appeared in Jingyan Lake, North China City. The military region dispatched troops to suppress the rebellion, but for some reason, a few days later, unexpectedly appeared near my Longang Group factory area. Wanton destruction, that is where my Longang Group is stored. A large amount of materials gathered. I have my doubts. It was done intentionally by the 6th Military Region. They are the Longang Group, although the power is greater than that of the Lion in Tianhai City. But they couldn't get any weapons or firearms at all, even if closely collaborating with the 6th Military District. The other party is simply unwilling. Support for these weapons, relying solely on the Longang Group's resources. the powers of first-level supernatural beings. It's completely pointless. Not everyone can be like Qian. In the early days of the apocalypse, you can single-handedly slay the divine. In the early days of the apocalypse, the best tool is still a bullet. Silently, Wen Yin pondered for a while. Evil is. In memory, it seems I don't remember. There is such an existence. At least, far less famous than Qiong Qi. It seems. The big shot of the military district. It's not easy to hold on. Liao Ruyu let out a soft hum. The delicate, upturned face was covered in frost. Aren't you afraid of my Longgang group? Transcend their control. We have quite a bit of steel here. If it could start operating again, that would be something. Rob the survivors. Deliberately let that monster go. Everyone is targeting me, Longgang group. However, there's nothing that can be done about it. After all, base of the 6th War Zone. However, it is built near Huibai City. One inside, one outside. If the Longgang group really became the boss of Huibai City, that certainly isn't the higher-ups of the 6th War Zone. Wishing to see you. Qian Mo chatted with Liao Ruyu for a little while. It is evident. Regarding the 6th Theater, Liao Ruyu can be said to have a lot of resentment. It also matches my intentions perfectly. The 6th War Zone has truly taken control of North China City. So oneself. Then we can't peacefully go searching for fish anymore. Moreover, since the steel mill, that is the perfect place to master one's abilities. At that moment, from a distance, suddenly a group of people arrived. The rumble of vehicles. This voice. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes brightened. Stand up from the ground. They have arrived. When he turned his head again, the pupils suddenly constricted. Somewhat incredulously, looked towards the silence. Just saw it a second ago. Still fine. Crawling beside the silence, that enormous beast. In the next moment, it suddenly vanished. Liao Ruyu looked deeply at Qian Mo in silence. Yes, at this moment, from the series of off-road vehicles that arrived, the burly man came down, noticed the existence of silence. The strong man frowned, clearly expressed some displeasure. Yes, what is this? Liao Ruyu. It was all just a misunderstanding before. We have made it clear. He will walk with us soon. The strong man's brows furrowed even deeper. However, since it is a request from the young lady, he didn't say much either. Can only nod. Gave a fierce glare. The silence behind Liao Ruyu. Very displeased. Get in the car. Let's go. Returning to Huibai City. Silence with a group of men sitting in the back of a large truck. The car is silent and solemn. 5 or 6 grim-faced men sitting there, holding an iron rod with some rudimentary weapons. The stern figures scan the silent surroundings. It's a bit dim. The atmosphere is tense. Silence casually sat in a spot. Close your eyes and rest your spirit. No one spoke. According to Liao Ruyu's words, before heading to Huibai City, you should stay here and not go out, because at the highway exit location, guarded by many armed individuals, beside the ear, occasionally ringing out, the sound of the big truck clattering and bumping. HMPH. The man snorted coldly. I approached with some displeasure. Pid, I don't know what you talked about with the young lady, but you as a person, you frail little body, join me in Longgang. Don't let those zombies eat you. The man's name is Ji Huazhu, is the team leader here, and these men present here, they are all workers from the Longgang Group's steel factory, working year-round in a steel factory. doing all the dirty and exhausting work. This enables their physical abilities to far exceed those of ordinary people. Each one, whether it's endurance or strength, all are quite good, able to walk out with Liao Ruyu. Nature has carefully selected individuals from among us. Silence still, with closed eyes. No one spoke. At this moment, a middle-aged man with a kind appearance was sitting across from me, let out a bitter laugh, said, "All right, Lao Qi, a child, why are you being so cautious? Now it is the end of the world. Only men and women. There is no talk of children. Ji Huazhi Chen Sheng Dao. I don't know why the young lady wants him to come back with us. Why not just place it directly at the station, like those survivors, not collecting a certain amount of money, not allowed to pass? What are you saying?" As soon as these words were spoken, the men present, everyone felt a bit displeased. Compared to Feng Tianyu, these people are obviously more conscientious. "Lao Ji, you're such a fool, breaking the path of life. This is utterly heartless. After death, one will descend into hell. Whoever loves to do it, do it. I am unwilling. People like Feng Tianyu find joy in it. This is good now. You got your comeuppance, didn't you? We had no choice in the matter. Every day there are deaths. These days, I don't know when to shoot." Ji Huozhu seemed to feel he had misspoken a bit. "Shane he Dao, I didn't mean to either. Those damn bastards." The contradictions from the external survivors. Aim at our Longgang group. He's really something else. Everyone fell silent. The expression on their face was all wrong, very unreasonable, extremely ugly. After all, someone like Feng Tianyu. In the end, it is the minority, the world before the apocalypse. Everyone is a worker. Everyone knows life is not easy. Silence slowly opened its eyes. He glanced at the group of burly men, opened his mouth to speak. "You people from Longgang, they are very unwilling to intercept. Survivors from the outside." Ji Huozhu sneered. "You think we are all like that beast, Feng Tianyu? You kid are quite lucky, since the young lady is willing to take you inside. Upon arriving in Huibai City, just stay honestly in Longgang." Silence spoke no more. Silence all the way, one large vehicle after another. On this somewhat dilapidated highway, after driving for a while, there were intermittent stops along the way, but fortunately there were no accidents. About half an hour later, the whole vehicle came to a shaky stop. From outside, suddenly a sound came through, the sound of footsteps echoing. The sound of firearms clashing echoed. "Stop right there." The voice of Liao Ruyu echoed. "We are from Longgang Group. How many people arrived today?" 15 people. And identity information. They are all here. Let the people inside the car. Everyone come out. There was no sound from the outside. I don't know what Liao Ruyu did. That voice continued to echo. "All right, you can go now." The higher-ups told us. "Make sure to settle those survivors. After the safe zone is properly established, they let them go. Do you understand? Let's go." Buzzin'. The sound of the engine starting. The vehicle began to sway and move forward again. Not sure how much time has passed. The rear door was jammed. A push from behind revealed a glow. Silently looked outside. The entire view became clear and visible. This is a wasteland. It's somewhat empty around. The ground was covered in bloodstains and zombie corpses. A foul smell of decay and rot hit me. Mo is the most familiar taste. The alluring Liao Ruyu laughed and said under the car, "All right, We have arrived in Huibai City. Everyone come out." Silence, and a group of men got off the car. Looked around. Cars are parked along the roadside. Liao Ryu let out a light laugh and said, "Let's go outside for some fresh air." Silently, sweating slightly, a group of men wielding weapons. Be extremely vigilant and attentive to the surroundings, although this area has been cleaned many times already. But occasionally there will still be wandering. Zombies have appeared here. So everyone was highly focused. Liao Ruyu stretched lazily. With a smiling gaze, she looked at him silently. "You have arrived at the city of Huibai that you have been longing for. Our Longgang group base is located over 30 kilometers away, although the path ahead has been traveled countless times. But there are still occasional zombies present. You are so powerful. No problem, I can help." Speaking of this, Liao Ruyu stuck out her tongue, nodded silently. "Sure, but I want those gold boxes." Liao Ruyu smiled charmingly. "You can rest assured. As long as you help us." Longgang dealt with that monstrous evil, this thing called the Golden Box. We still have some. It will also give you corresponding rewards. Just like a bounty hunter in a movie. "Oh, is it? Pretty cool, right?" Silence said softly, "Help me find someone." Everything is easy to say. Don't worry. Your business. I will definitely take care of it." Liao Ruyu patted his chest. "Ensure the path." At this moment, Ji Huazhu came over as well, opened his mouth and said, "Miss." Just then, that group of guys need something again. Liao Ruyu glanced at him. Qiong Lion said calmly, Gave a bit." Ji Huazhu suddenly became furious. Great anger. Even the few men beside him. The expression doesn't look too good either. Damn it. These guys. How shameless. Their military district clearly has food. Still always remembering. This little thing of ours from Longgang. Miss, this isn't the first time it's happened. Next time we will take a look. What if I don't give it to them?" Silent classical language. She looked at him with some curiosity. "You gave them food." "Military district personnel. This thing is also lacking." Liao Ruyu chuckled softly. He appeared to be quite open-minded. Said nonchalantly, "Although food can be sent, but this layered distribution. It's his turn. In their hands. How many more? If you don't give some benefits. How did you get in? Let's not talk about this. Let's go. I've been curious about your strength for a long time, since we can deal with Feng Tianyu and his gang. A mere little zombie. It should be a piece of cake. Let me see." Silence spoke not a word, but looked around, then looked in a certain direction. The right hand slightly raised. An ordinary steel ball, unknown where it leaped away from, as swift as a bullet, leaving everyone taken aback. At this moment, more than 30 meters ahead, at peace, in the ruins. Suddenly, a sharp scream of a mouse echoed. Thick, fresh blood. It flowed out from the rubble. Everyone present. The pupil constricted. The fire pillar widened its eyes even more, full of the unbelievable. Looked towards the silence. Liao Ruyu covered her small mouth in surprise. The power of silence. This is simply too unbelievable. Liao Ruyu was somewhat skeptical. Using the power of the storm. The ruins rumble. A gust of wind flowed right inside. Remove the corpse of that rat. Dragged out. A full meter in size. Larger than an ordinary house cat. "How did you do it?" Liao Ruyu was somewhat shocked. "I saw it." Silence needs no explanation. Qiong Qi transformed into a Tianquan tattoo. continuously strengthening one's five senses, with the sense of smell and perception of Qiong Qi, even if it's just a second-tier kind. It is much stronger than a Tier 3 ability user. The zombies here, you have been cleared, but there are quite a few corpse mice. Silently said, the sensations brought by Qiong Qi. Let silence stand upon this ruin. Everyone can hear clearly. In the wastewater channel below, the sound of squeaking corpses echoed one after another. If the corpses of rats accumulate to a certain extent, will be with the original self. In Tianai City it is the same. The Rat King has appeared. Silence reminded him. If you have time, you should clean up a bit. This simple strike. It is no different then. Surprised everyone present. Ji Huazhu didn't even see it. When did silence take action? Unintentionally, I glanced at Chen Mo. Liao Ruyu glanced at the ruins. A series of rat corpses scurried past, shook their head in amazement. I understand. In a couple of days, I'll arrange for someone to come over and handle it. Your strength. There should be a 3-in-1 connection. You must be in Esper. It seems. This time I came to Longdang to find you. Go deal with that monster. Absolutely enough. Let's go. A group of people set off in great spirits. Liao Runyu, as the only supernatural being in Longdang, nature must lead the way at the forefront. And silence, because there is no principle for summoning Qiong Qi. Another ability user. Liao Ruyu took the initiative to invite. I got on his motorcycle. The silence had a somewhat strange expression. Placed a hand on his shoulder. Liao Ruyu did not shy away at all. Instead, Jiao Shen teased, I don't mind being a woman at all. You, a big man. Instead, it's more like a nagging mother. It's time to get to work. Let's go. This black motorcycle, accompanying his tempestuous powers. In this wasteland, it was quite smooth and agile. It's just that. The big waves are hitting my cheeks, causing a slight sting. The situation in Huebai City. The existence of the military district does not change anything. It's much better than Tianhai City. The earth we tread upon. Cracking everywhere. The surrounding buildings echoed back to him. Before the end of the world, Huebai City is a heavy industrial city. Economic recession, relying solely on Longdang Group, and several large industrial groups develop young people. There aren't many choices left to stay here. Most industries belong to Western Red. So, surrounding buildings. It has quite an ancient feeling. There aren't many tall buildings. Everywhere are factories and old residential areas. Okay. As the group continued to move forward, finally encountered the first wave of zombies here. And from beneath the ground in front of the two, suddenly a beast emerged, extremely short in stature, crouched together zombies, caught off guard. Liao Ruyu raised her face, clearly startled, then hurriedly tightened the sleeve and frowned. Accelerate the motorcycle. I charged straight toward the zombie that had emerged. Bump! A drop of blood splattered. The zombie. He performed a 360-degree spin right in the air. It flew straight out. His entire body felt like shattered bones. Like a puddle of mud. Hit the ground, continuously emitting low growls. Okay. But surroundings. From the collapsed places, or in the broken-down store, a horde of zombies surged out. Bon bon. The sound of knocking continued behind him. The men of Longbang, holding sticks one by one. Fire axe, sharp weapons swung towards the surrounding zombies. Engaged in a fierce battle. Liao Ruyu stopped the motorcycle. Kaio Lion said coldly, These zombies are getting more and more annoying. Why are there still people sneaking attacks underground? Silence. They will also purify. Speaking, Silence drew the ghost blade from his waist, quickly stepped forward. A knife pierced into the body of the short zombie. Pu Chai, blood flying everywhere, one strike to kill. Looking at the zombies before me, without exception, all are beings of the first order. A fierce wind swept through the venue. Sharp as a blade, it cuts through. Liao Ruyu directly summoned the storm. Sweep out a sharp blade. Pachai swiftly and decisively separated a zombie's head from its body. Clearly, he has already mastered his powers with ease. Silence. Let's compare who kills more. Liao Ruyu turned around and teased. Her figure is gracefully proud, under the siege of this group of zombies, like dancing the waltz, easily and effortlessly dodging attack after attack. He is a second-tier ability user. Extraordinary abilities. Ordinary zombies can hardly cause any harm to it. Silence glanced at him. The ghost in hand was swung heavily, mastering the use of abilities. In an instant, the ghost transformed into countless streams of black liquid. Like waves, it sprang in all directions. The black droplets fell like a torrential rain of pear blossoms. Precision pierced through the brains of one zombie after another. Puff, puff, puff. A zombie fell to the ground. The power is terrifyingly extreme. Liao Ruyu saw this, opened his mouth. For a moment, I was stunned and stood still. This killing speed. It was simply too shocking. This is perverse. He muttered softly. The surrounding wind howled even more fiercely. Two ability users clearly demonstrated the gap between Longang and those ordinary people. Under the pervasive disregard for mysterious forces, the zombies nowadays have gradually undergone significant evolution, although I often clean up. But the zombies are like wild grass that won't catch fire. After a while, a large group will gather again. The zombies here, there are over 50 of them. Longang, that burly and strong man, continuously slaughtering with weapons. But their blades, when facing a level 1 zombie, even cutting off their heads was somewhat difficult. Go to hell. The fire pillar roared once. With fierce determination, the crimson-eyed warrior strikes down. The fire axe embedded in the half of the zombie's skull before me, torn off a large chunk of flesh. Finally, they beheaded him. Blood splattered all over him. This group of beasts has become stronger again. The fire pillar let out a breath. Sweat was already pouring down my body, watching the silent, crazily slaughtering zombies not far away, and I'd only killed one. It's so exhausting. A deep sense of helplessness arose in the heart of Jehuoju. With determination, I lunged toward a group of zombies. At that moment, a shrill cry echoed from afar. Bert! A puddle suddenly appeared in the sky. A foul, corrosive green liquid surged forward. Asterisk sound of a clap, asterisk. A sound fell to the ground, carrying the stone. The zombie's body was also corroded and burned to ashes. Tsai La, the slimy puddle on the ground. The boiling bone cannons keep erupting. A burning sound echoed, and a strong, fishy odor. Oh, someone can't endure it anymore. This smell makes one feel extremely uncomfortable physically. I couldn't help but gag. What the hell is this? At this moment, silent eyes slightly squinted, as the zombies' roar echoed. The surrounding zombies. The advanced students began to fidget restlessly. Roar, roar. Liao Ruyu tilted her face. Covering his nose, he used the storm to disperse the surrounding smell, although his condition is slightly better than that of others in Longang. But it was clearly disgusted by the green slime. Brr! The voice from before sounded again. Only a swift black figure was seen, moving at lightning speed, trampling the surrounding buildings. Rumble, rumble, fell heavily to the ground. It turned out to be a creature with a slightly bulging abdomen. The zombie had a neck as long as a snake. He is a middle-aged man. The corners of the mouth cracked to the earlobe. His entire skin was rotting away. The intestines hang around the waist. The internal organs are clearly visible. Green mucus was continuously seeping from his skin, dripping onto the ground, even if we are far apart. You can also smell the foul odor like that of rotten corpses in stagnant water. It looks utterly disgusting, constantly shaking its limbs and low growling, dancing over there. What on earth is this? Upon seeing this scene, Liang Ruoyu's delicate brows were like a beautiful tapestry. A thick haze of leisure emerged. Silence. Second-tier zombie. Decomposer. He didn't expect. The current zombies. The speed of evolution is surprisingly fast. Special abilities have emerged. Similar to a superpowered individual. This is a very special kind of zombie. Once the decomposer appeared, the man of Longbang, I couldn't help but stand up all over. They were seeing a zombie like this for the first time. At a glance, it's clear they are not simple characters. The fire pillar felt even colder all over. The extreme sense of oppression brought by this decomposer, more than any other zombie. All need to be stronger. Liao Ruyu looked at the silence and immediately said, "Decomposer, what is it?" Silence, with a calm expression, spoke up, "Do not touch his skin and mucus. As corrosive properties, even the supernatural beings can't withstand it. You can understand it as high concentration sulfuric acid, but its lethality, but even more terrifying than sulfuric acid. And you can't stand too close." What? Liao Ruyu was taken aback, looking at the distant flowing land, steaming liquid. I couldn't help but feel a bit of a chill run down my spine. "So what should we do now?" The silent eyes sparkle. "Disassembler. It can be said to be a special type of zombie, the most troublesome kind. In the early stages, for ordinary people, it's absolutely lethal. Rather than fight, you must always be cautious. The fluid of the decomposer. It shouldn't be excessive. Approaching, because he just needs to get hurt." What spurted out was not blood, but rather after compression. High concentration corrosive liquid. If it can't be a quick kill, in the end it can be used to create. Similar to a suicide truck. General ability. Among those special zombies, undoubtedly, it is the ability users. The monster that no one wishes to encounter. Silently glanced back. Pale complexion. Being surrounded by a group. First level zombie worm. The people of Longbang are retreating step by step. No special abilities. No firearms again. It solely depends on them. The physique of an ordinary person. It is absolutely impossible to compete with the decomposers. Silent holds the ghost cutter, staring at the decomposer across from me. Appeared in the eyes. A streak of cold light. "Leave it to me." Liao Ruyu directly uses the storm. "Open your mouth and speak. I'll help you." "No need. Just don't mess things up." Silent and straightforward, just one person. Charging forward with a raised knife. Liao Ruyu's body trembles slightly, stomping in anger. What is it? I am at least a second-tier ability user. Then, surrounding zombies. One after another, they pounced. Not yet close to silence. It has already landed. Liao Ruyu watched in silence. The figure of a person rushing out, like cutting grass, mercilessly reaping the lives of the zombies ahead. Her beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. This guy, how strong is it really? In a critical moment, he didn't have time to think much. Directly throw out a few sharp blades. Help the group of Longang who are in a tough battle behind. The second order ability user. Equally strong. This blade cuts through. Incredibly easy. Cut down the zombies surrounding the group in Longang. Wes, Ji Huozhu and others finally breathed a sigh of relief. Bum. The zombie before me was cut in half by a sharp blade. Axe to the head. Countless blood splatters. Ji Huozhu immediately looked towards the direction of silence. Pupils dilate. Her face was filled with disbelief. He wants to go alone. At this moment, the decomposer charged in silence. Shake your head and shout. Long neck, swaying as gracefully as a python. Buru. His throat and abdomen were moving. It feels like insects are about to swarm out. Suddenly opened its huge bloody mouth. A single sound. Directly spit out a pool of green phlegm, emitting a foul odor and pieces of flesh, firing towards the direction of silence. Silence furrowed his brow. The surrounding iron leaves instantly formed a metal wall in front of me. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The green mucus splashed directly against the metal wall. It actually started to corrode. Riding on this metal wall, a hole has formed. Puff. The decomposer. Again, he spat out some thick phlegm. Silence is a third-tier ability user, with the added enhancement of the Qiong Qi physique. These phlegms don't even recognize themselves. Perfectly avoided being ridden. Dropped to the ground. The green mucus splattered against the standing rock. Ruins. On the ground, corroded into ominous cavities. The stench spread throughout the entire venue. Seeing that their attacks were ineffective, the decomposer seemed to be enraged. Surprisingly, we both faced the silence. Pushing through. His speed is not slow. A viscous liquid continuously seeps from the broken skin. If encountered by a rider, that was really hard to bear. A silent, cold snort. The hand-held ghost blade slashed straight ahead. A drop of black liquid slashed out from the ghost cutter. They all transformed into a mysterious black metal towards the horizon. The decomposer struck down. Flapping wings, flapping wings. Flapping wings, like a rain of bullets. Speed up. Can you surpass your own third-tier abilities? Oh, the decomposer howled in agony. From his pierced body, small green fountains keep sprouting up. That year, the night continuously sprayed everything around. The distance within several meters. Nothing can be spared. Fortunately, the ghost blade is. I spoke with that mysterious merchant. The metal material among them, even this decomposer cannot erode. The black droplet reintegrated into Giki. It also carried an indescribable foul odor. Silently glanced at the people behind. He said coldly, "Stand a bit further away. After the dissolver dies, it will explode. The big knight within its body can build within a range of 30 to 40 meters. In other words, these dies, it is highly likely that the New Year's Eve within the decomposer will be affected. Looks like a jade sword." Spoke loudly and without hesitation. "Everyone come over here." He directly summoned all the personnel of Longang to gather together. Using the storm abilities, a barrier was raised in front of everyone. Silence turned around again, looking across, gathering strength again, preparing to expel the decomposer of annual charcoal. A machine in my right hand, abandoned metal around the decomposer, suddenly charging towards the disassembler. Bun. He pinched them tightly together. Still, countless green fireworks burst. Silence behind metal walls. Defend all around oneself. Perfect protection. This sticky night state, directly built to the position of Liao Ruyu and others, being confined gives rise to longing, fell in front of me, the ground in front of me, at a speed visible to the naked eye. It began to corrode. Everyone in Longang. Strong expression, astonished beyond measure. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes widened in surprise, staring in surprise at the silence. Because now the silence compared to before seems more adept, looking at the decomposer on the other side, actually surrounded by metal objects, stuck in the middle, unable to move, constantly struggling. He's so impressive. Why didn't you do it this way before? In Longang, some people do not understand. The fire pillar looked around at the green slime spread all over. The pupil constricted. It seems like something has come to mind. We were close at that time. Possible. Are you afraid that the zombie slime will hurt us? Everyone suddenly realized. That young man. It turns out I already had the ability. Easily slay that zombie. This said, wait for others yourself. Isn't that just a burden? Silently watching the struggling decomposer across from me, the mucus seeping from the decomposer's skin, continuously corroding those metal objects. Silence no longer wishes to use ghost cut. Because of the scent that clung to the decomposer, it is truly unbearable. He simply waved his right hand directly. Mobilize a pool of molten iron. Forge the molten iron into an incredibly sharp metal blade. Towards the distance. The head of the decomposer. He swept heavily across. A silver lake light sliced through. Speed is incredible. The decomposer on the other side. Suddenly it became quiet. Tao Tie, on the long neck of the decomposer. A line suddenly appeared. Then a gradual shift began to take place. Finally fell from the neck, rolling on the ground, in one breath, from his uninvested body. The thick green slime shot up into the sky, like a fountain, and an even more terrifying thing happened. Directly cut open the decomposer's belly. It actually started to expand, covered in blood stains. A thin stream of sticky liquid continuously oozed from the belly, growing bigger and bigger, expanded to the extreme. In the end, suddenly it exploded. A single call. Countless droplets of slime burst out. Scattered bits of meat splattered onto the tongue. The power is immense. Within a radius of several dozen meters. Begin to splash. Silence immediately activated the power of domination. All the metal objects around began to melt. Silver iron leaves, coming from all directions. Above and in front of Longdang and the others, there was silence, transformed into an enormous being. A half-moon-shaped metal barrier about 3 to 4 meters high. The immense shockwave from the explosion, blocked by the metal barrier. Buzzing sound. The metal barrier in front of me, corroded with small holes. The sounds of zombies' wails and screams echoed in my ears. But those zombies were dissolved by the slime exploded from the disintegrator. Everyone in Longang, staring straight at the scene before him, through the hole in the metal barrier in front of me, they saw clearly. At this moment, the surroundings are filled with that green liquid. A scene of devastation. A terrifying zombie with flesh all melted away. Continuous screaming. Fell into that green slimy water. Thick green smoke billowed out. Liao Ruyu looked on in disbelief at the silence. He actually fought during the battle. Can still take care of oneself and others. Such strength. Splashing sound. The metal wall before me. In an instant it transformed into silver liquid and scattered. Longang and the others looked around at the devastation. Everywhere is a sea of green. Fell into deep shock. It's over. What about that zombie? silent with an expression of complete calm. After killing the second-tier dissolver, his heart was like still water. This is not his first time killing a Type 2 zombie. With my current strength, this second-tier zombie posed no threat to oneself at all. Silence could have long solved the decomposer, but the people behind Long Gang were different. This is also why Silence would rather be with a deity. He is also unwilling to join any faction. Establish a small team. An incompetent guy will only drag oneself down. Decomposers are everywhere in the air. That nauseating smell. The fire pillar trembled all over. I have goosebumps all over. A burly man beside me. My scalp tingled. Miss, why is this guy so strong? In just a moment, it solved all the surrounding zombies. Liao Ruyu was also in a daze for a long time. Yo Dao, let's go back. Be careful of the slime around here. Do not get tainted. After surveying the battlefield, the good news is dozens of Longgang members were present. Not a single death. After all, the arena was filled with silence and desolation. The blessings of these two supernatural beings. These people are also the elite of Longgang. They all have rich combat experience. The bad news is, due to the explosive characteristics of the decomposer, his green slime, even the golden box can rot, cleaned up the battlefield. A first-tier golden box untouched by slime only managed to collect 16 pieces. There is also a high-quality gem, the second golden box of the decomposer. This is also why, even if one is a superhuman, I also don't want to encounter the decomposer. After much effort, the zombie gold box has been defeated. Can't gather them all. It's simply a thankless task. Liao Ruyu took a deep breath, calming my excited heart. Came to the side of Silence, shining beautiful eyes. This moment, he looked at Chen Mo with a sense of awe. Nüwa, these gold boxes are all for you. He took the collected gold box. They all passed it over. Silence also did not refuse. Take it. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes, staring intently at the silence, but found the mysterious young man before me, surprisingly calm, not a ripple of disturbance. Isn't he excited? Liao Ruyu took a while before speaking. You rascal. How did it happen? So strong. In the military district and Longgang. He has seen quite a few. A powerful esper with extraordinary abilities, but without exception, can never be replicated. The operation was handled with such ease and silence. Silence, at least a third-tier psychic. Liao Ruyu can be certain. Silently glanced at him. Spoke softly. I am alone. Not strong. Can't get there. They all died on the road. Also, Liao Ruyu found it difficult to say. Able to be alone. Traveling alone from Tianhai City to here. The road ahead is sure to be fraught with danger. Silence from Tianhai City. Arrived here safe and sound. This is enough to illustrate many issues. After this battle, the strong and burly blacksmiths of Longgang. No one dares to underestimate the young lady anymore. The young man brought along. Everyone looked on with admiration. Looked over. In the midst of the apocalypse, strength is always a capital that earns respect. The power revealed in silence gained everyone's respect. Ji Huazhu stepped forward. He hesitantly opened his mouth to speak. Kid, thank you very much. I apologize for any previous offenses. If it weren't for you this time, still don't know how many brothers will die. Silent and calm. It's nothing. Just taking what we need. Liao Ruyu smiled brightly at Ji Huazhu. Daju Dao. You, this guy. will also apologize. Ji Huozhu is an old worker of the Longgang group, worked for most of my life, demonstrated impressive strength in the apocalypse, although lacking talent. But after all, it's been over 20 years. Longgang group, in the aftermath of the apocalypse, he has also mingled into the lower management level. For personnel outside of Longgang, he has always been very resistant to it. Ji Huozhu sighed wryly. Miss, please stop teasing me. I am Ji Huozhu, not a fool again. Such strength. Entering Longgang. That was for Longgang. The benefits truly outweigh the drawbacks. Liao Ruyu glanced at the center of the disintegrator explosion. It was almost everywhere covered in a foul-smelling slime. Turned green. Liao Ruyu pinched her nose, waving goodbye. All right, all right. Let's hurry up. The taste here. It's truly disgusting. A group of people carefully, cautiously, avoided the surrounding green slime, continued heading towards Longgang. Liao Ruyu and Chen Mo walked at the forefront. The zombies nearby. Compared to the places we passed before, Liao Ruyu has become much less. It seems a bit strange. It's strange to say the least. This area, we often travel back and forth. In theory, the zombies here, it should all be with us and the military district personnel. It's almost cleaned up. How come I jeep so many today? Ji Huozhu furrowed his brow. After pondering for a while, it is also said that this, you say, could it be someone from the military district, like the monstrous evil that was driven away before, deliberately led these zombies here? A man beside me joked. I said, Old G, you, this guy, are they all possessed? Every day at the military district. Others will also come this way. Liao Ruyu straightened herself. I began to think deeply. At this moment, silence softly spoke. It shouldn't be. Advanced zombies. For low-level zombies. Charismatic. These zombies. It is also constantly evolving. I'm afraid it's brought by that decomposer. Liao Ruyu nodded slightly. Alarmist rhetoric. But that monster is terrifying. We can almost be certain. It was deliberately placed in our Longgang by the military district. The people from the military district before. They just kept coming to negotiate with us. They want to requisition our steel factory. Let's see if it can be reactivated. They let that great evil come over. It's just that. Don't want us to occupy that place. Silence. I was a bit skeptical before, but no, I actually believe it. Liao Ruyu examined the silence from top to bottom. Suddenly realized, this guy is quite handsome. Rugged features, as steadfast as a blade, especially those incredibly deep eyes. An elderly minister who doesn't belong to this age and the bullet comments. And that unique aura. If only I dressed up a bit. I estimate the appearance is also quite good. But I am thinking about what? Liao Ruyu quickly shook her head, waved away the distractions in my heart. She smiled and said, Silence. Do you want to consider it? Join me in Longgang. Such talent, no matter where you go, they are definitely hot commodities. Now, any capable supernatural beings all chose to join various military regions. Like Silence, holding a grudge against the military district. Still able to be carefree to this day. He was the first to see. Silent eyes calm. Ignored him. Powerful ability users in the apocalypse. There aren't many powers. All of them are renowned. Powerful superhumans exist. Nowadays, although I haven't encountered those guys myself. But at least Longgang is among this. Still can't get in line. If one does not interfere, Longgang has been merged with the 6th Military District. That was bound to happen. Seeing the silence, he ignored himself. Liao Ruyu couldn't help but pout, express some dissatisfaction. What a strange person. Forget it. You are unwilling. I won't force you either. The group set off again. After about 2 hours of travel, finally arrived at the stronghold where Longgang is located. As a survivor faction, the stronghold of the Longgang group, outside a vast, empty shopping mall. Surroundings. They used scrap metal collected from various places. A small car has built surround the barrier in this place. The range is very wide. You can occasionally see at the entrance the large trucks coming in and out, and the members within the Longgang group. Liao Ruyu introduced from the side. This is the place where we, Longgang, used to gather supplies. Was cleaned up a bit. I have settled in temporarily. In the past, we are all inside the steel mill. That is where our true territory lies. It's a pity. The steel factory is now occupied by that monstrous beast. I have to avoid its sharpness. They have just relocated all the personnel within the group here. Silence nodded. Members of the Longgang group on guard outside. Most of them are middle-aged men. After all, Longgang group is a steel factory. There are ultimately fewer girls. Liao Ruyu and a group of people returned. A member guarding outside approached respectfully. Miss Liao. Liao Ruyu nodded, looked around and said, Is there nothing going on today? Miss Hui. Everything is well today. How is the steel mill? The monster over there is still sleeping. The zombies near the steel factory have been mostly devoured by him. Miss Liao, the chairman asked you to come back. Go find him. Liao Ruyu was taken aback, feeling a bit confused. Uncle Liao is back. Didn't he just go to the military district yesterday? What do you want from me? The person shook their head, said, unknowingly. However, when the chairman returned this morning, there were also 2 people accompanying me, a man and a woman. It seems to be brought back by the military district. Liao Ruyu was jealous of Ziyume. I glanced at the silence behind me. After a moment of contemplation, he nodded. I understand. Liao Ruyu turned around. Come to the side of silence. Opening the mouth brings silence. Someone from the military district has arrived. I don't know if I'm here for you. I'll go over to take a look in a bit. But don't worry. I mentioned it before. As long as I am within Longgang, no one can take you away. Silently watching Liao Ruyu's serious expression. Slightly taken aback, he said, No problem. Don't worry about me. If you come to find me, I'll just walk by myself. He doesn't want to be with Longgang. Too many entanglements involved. Liao Ruyu, pouting in anger, stomped in anger. What do you think I meant by what I said? I will let Ji Huazhu take the lead. I'll take you to rest for a bit. Have something to eat. Wait for me patiently. Don't go anywhere. Did you hear that? Ji Huazhu. Liao Ruyu said. Ji Huazhu. Miss, what's wrong? Liao Ruyu glanced over. Behind him, a group of men from Longgang. Zhu Chuqing rises. Spoke up. You carry silence. Let's go to our break room. By the way, arrange some food. I need to go to Uncle Liao's place. I'll be there soon. Ji Huazhu nodded slightly. I understand. Chen Liadi, come with me. Because of what happened before, the reason silence saved everyone's life. Ji Huazhu has also become quite polite. Silence followed a group of people. They arrived at their exclusive lounge. This lounge is a bit shabby. It is a temporary shelter. It is located near this large supermarket. Surroundings. There are quite a few square ones. A lounge just like this one, right next to you. But Ji Huaju and others, at least it's something. Following Liu Ruyu, the lounge where we are. Nature is also unique in its own way. In a relatively open and spacious location, Ji Huaju opened the door as soon as I entered the lounge. Then from the ground, directly moved out box after box of instant noodles. In that box, it was also mixed with eggs, ham sausage. Ji Huaju carefully take the instant noodles on top. Take it out. Put it on the table. Beneath these pressed instant noodles, there are actually a few boxes of self-heating meals. But they are all their treasures. Long and Group, the employees who are still alive today. There are more than 300 people, and some family members of the survivors. It has increased to around 700 or 800 people, except for Longgang's employees. Living here, everyone else lives elsewhere, not as wealthy as Shu, even if it's someone under Liu Ruyu. The allocated food, it is also limited. The men around, he directly took off his shirt. He sat down bare-chested, let out a sigh of relief. Ji Huaju swallowed hard. Take out the self-heating meal. He handed it to Chen Mo and said, "Eat up. You saved our lives." "Brother, don't mention it." Chen Mo looked at the self-heating meal on the table, eyes glimmering. They didn't take action either. "I'm not hungry yet. Is there water?" "No." "Here." A man beside me. He took out a bottle of water directly. Lost the past. Chen Mo turned it on. Then it began to gulp down. Then he took the previous one, the golden box of the second-order decomposer, took it out, began to absorb. The group of men looked at each other. "Older brother, this is—" Ji Huaju shook his head upon seeing this. "Brother Chen should be absorbing this golden box. Miss often does this too. Say, this ability user. It's really enviable. When will we can also have a special ability? I don't have that fate. Haven't you all noticed? The zombies outside. Did you score some points again? I used a knife today. Almost couldn't chop off their heads. Is there any way? We don't have any special abilities. No gun again. This damned world." Chen Mo opened his eyes, gave them a glance. In fact, at the beginning of the apocalypse, natural awakening of extraordinary abilities. In the end, it's just a minority, but it can still be activated later. Golden box, ordinary people can also forcibly absorb. There is a chance to awaken extraordinary abilities because of this. The gold box is filled with impurities. The higher the level, uninfluenced, the possibility of awakening becomes greater. Inferior quality. The first level golden box has the ability to, but ordinary people absorb 99%. It's all about losing one's sanity. Before my rebirth, it is relying on the fish. A 3-tiered golden box for myself. The awakened psychic ability caused interference. Of course, this important news, Chen Mo never told anyone. Even Lion Luo Changshan didn't tell. After all, the temptation of becoming a superhuman, for ordinary people, it's really too big. But it is also fraught with danger, narrowly escaping death. If I were to tell Luo Changshan myself, or Longgan, there will definitely be many people taking risks to forcibly absorb. By then, many people will have died. Blame it on oneself. Hard work, but no reward. There is absolutely no need to do that. After becoming a third-level ability user, the things that Chen Mo remember, it's becoming more and more. Chen Mo lowered his gaze. I began to ponder quietly. If I remember correctly, Hua Bay City, that guy is also here. That guy, long before myself and the fish, when joining the 6th Military District, he kept following Uncle Lin, responsible for protecting his safety. Unmatched strength, holding in extremely powerful. A level elemental abilities collapse. Everything it has touched. All can manifest their abilities. Under the influence of attachment. Ready to explode. Most common usage. Even the bullets in the gun. One by one, they all got attached. The power of abilities. It's the 6th Military District. A very powerful superhuman. Uncle Lin's loyal dog. At this moment, inside the office of Longang Group's chairman. This is the very center of the place. It is also the safest place. Liao Rui looked at the scene before her. Different men, different women. Qiong Lion said somewhat unhappily, "Help us. I am from the Longang Group. Half of the factory area has been taken away. How can you call that helping us?" The man and woman across from me. Looks like they are not very old. The boy is wearing casual clothes. Short t-shirt. Crew cut. Not very old. He is quite tall. About 1.83 meters tall. Tall and thin. Tall and strong. Looks like an athlete. Lazily lying on the sofa. Drinking cola. Your Longbang Group can't even defend their own territory. You need to know. This is not something we came here for willingly, but it is Chairman Liao, personally come to find us at the military district. Just, if it weren't for Uncle Zheng asking us to come over, I wouldn't want to. Come to this God-forsaken place. Next to the boy, a petite and fierce little girl, holding a doll, glaring at Liao Ruyu with hostility. When meeting Liao Ruyu, after the tumultuous winds and waves, Paoding seemed even more unhappy. They are all psychics from the military district. The boy's name is Wan Heaming. Before the apocalypse, I was an athlete, because of possessing special abilities. Wang Heaming quickly gained the military command's favor. The girl is named Zhang Qing. It is also the military district from the survivors. Select a powerful ability user for cultivation. Liao Ruyu was furious upon seeing this. The common brother rises and falls. Uncle Liao, this is the person you brought in. On the military district side. Just send 2 little kids over to help. Liao Ruyu sat in the center, with a look of a nice guy. The middle-aged man in a shirt, with a plump figure, said, Liao Wen wiped his sweat. Regarding my niece, it is quite helpless. He opened his mouth to speak. These 2. They are all people from the Gao Bureau. It was arranged personally by Gao Ju. Don't be fooled by their young age. But they all possess supernatural abilities. Very strong. Liao Ruyu was so angry that she trembled. Strong strength. I have already found it. To find the most suitable person to deal with that monster. There is no need to agree to the harsh conditions set by the military district. Let 2 little kids help out. Uncle Liao, I have already found the right person. Liao when I was taken aback. Wan Heaming made a Coca-Cola. Remain impassive. Glimpsed at the curvaceous figure. Liao Ruyu with her stunning beauty. Said with a smile, Miss Liao, are you worried about us? You know too. This is a special time. Most of our strength, everyone has been sent to search for survivors. Since the Gao Bureau is willing to send us here, that is naturally because Wan Heaming slowly got up, just a moment, and arrived behind Liao Ruyu. In his hands, a specially made handgun appeared out of nowhere, right against Liao Ruyu's slender waist. Two people, just enough. Liao Wenmu's grand array. Liao Ruyu is beautiful and strategic. Became more indifferent. Wang Heiming intended to show off his extraordinary abilities. Spoke flirtatiously. Me and Xiao Qin. They are all second-tier ability users. And my ability, it's C-class SPE. This done. It's also specially made for the military district. Kill the three-tiered zombie. It's all within reach. That monster. Military district. But I know him very well. Miss Liao, do you think we have the ability? I took care of that monster for you. Wang Heiming at this moment. Don't even mention how great it was. Before the end of the world. It's just as simple. But now, this position holds significant power and authority. The famous director of Huibai City. In front of oneself. Such a careful appearance. Clearly, Wang Heiming found it very beneficial. Liao Wen was startled by the scene. Hurriedly stepped forward to persuade. Wan Xiao brother, what are you doing? Wang Heiming held the specially made pistol in his hand. Gently put away. A slight smile. Spoke with an air of maturity. Chairman, rest assured. I naturally wouldn't do anything to Miss Liao. I do this. I just want Miss Liao to believe. Xiao Qin and I have the ability. Can you help Long Gang deal with that monster crocodile? Miss Liao, how is it? Now you believe in our strength, right? Liao Ruyu's delicate face showed dissatisfaction with the cold frost. No one spoke. Suddenly, he snorted coldly. The entire room. Suddenly, a fierce hurricane began to blow. The tables and chairs began to shake violently. The one closest to Liao Ruyu is Wang Heiming. His pupils suddenly constricted. It feels like my face is being scraped by a knife. Take a few steps back. Miss Liao. Turns out, he is also a supernatural being. Wang Heiming found it hard to believe. Immediately put away the contempt. Zheng King on the sofa beside. He looked at her in surprise. The atmosphere of the scene. When the nice guy said, "Pure, stop it right now." These two. But they are all sent by the military district. She knew her niece's personality, fearing it might harm Wang Heiming and Zheng King. Wang Heiming also said awkwardly, "Miss Liao, that I didn't mean to do that. It's just that F." Liao Ruyu snapped impatiently. He looked at the two and said, "Don't think it's about being a supernatural being. Then you can be within my Longgang. Do as one pleases. This expedition to eradicate evil. I have my own plans. Uncle Liao, do you believe me?" Liao Wen's expression was somewhat hesitant, regarding those big figures in the military district. He is quite wary, you can say. Without the support of those big figures, there is no shocking event in Longgang. Zheng let out a cold hum, somewhat displeased. HMPH. If you don't want it, then don't. Do you really think we want to help you? At that time, I see you all better not come asking. Let's go deal with that monster. Liao Wen let out a sigh. As the oldest person here, as the chairman of Longgang Group, he spoke up. All right, everyone, stop arguing. You too. Calm down a bit. This time the military district sent someone to help us with Longgang. The conditions can still be negotiated. In my opinion, let these two first. I will go with you. Liao Ruyu. Uncle Liao. Liao Wen's expression darkened. Without a doubt, he spoke up. How? You won't even listen to me, Uncle Liao. Next, after some discussion, the final conclusion has been reached. Wang Heiming and Zheng King. Assist Liao Ruyu. Go deal with that monster. And he would start over. Discuss again with the military district personnel. Liao Ruyu looked displeased, left with Wang Heiming and Zheng Qing. Seeing the three people leave, Liao went on side heavily, sat down on the chair. The gaze softly murmured, "Sigh, you're some things. It's not as simple as you think. This time, the Gao Bureau sent these two people here. If you don't eat a piece of my dragon meat, our relationship in the future." It truly came to a breaking point. The situation is as fierce as fire and water. As the president who established Longgang Group from the ground up, Liao Wenyu has met countless people. Old people become wise. How could they be mere incompetent fools? It's just that. Many of them, even if he is unwilling, there is no way at all, can only passively accept it. Regarding Longgang's current situation, if there is a break with the military district, then there are only drawbacks. There are no benefits. In the lounge, Silence absorbed the second-tier golden box, also absorbed 7 or 8 first-tier gold boxes. The master has reached the third tier. Now there are only second-tier gold boxes and third-tier gold boxes. It has a significant uplifting effect. The power of these golden boxes. Silence is used to absorb energy for Tianquan. Silent eyes shimmer. In this situation, go ahead. It won't take long. My own celestial authority. You can then advance to the third level of ability. If Tianquan could reach the third level, so one can accommodate and receive a kind of feathered deity. A few big men will be added to the lounge. Everyone is asleep at this moment. Seeing the silence, just wanted to go out for a walk. Open the door. Got it. What a coincidence. Just happened to run into Liao Ruyu, who was coming back. 4 eyes meet. Liao Ruyu was slightly taken aback, then glanced at the silent lounge behind. The members of Longgang have already taken a break. Kaio Lion spoke with a serious tone. Silence, come with me for a moment. Seeing Liao Ruyu like this, silent feelings. It should be related to the people from the military district. Slightly sweaty palms. Followed them out. Liao Ruyu glanced around. Silence led to a desolate place. He said in a low voice, "Silence." To whisper came from the military district. Silence. Liao Ruyu was taken aback. Look at his calm expression. I couldn't help but ask, "Don't you care at all? Why have they come?" Silence quietly spoke. "If there are no traitors within Longgang, I want the things that happened when I arrived here. The military district probably doesn't know." Liao Ruyu smiled lightly. "Very bright. You can rest assured. They are not here for you. It was someone sent from the military district. Come to help us deal with that monstrous goose. Come here. They are just 2 little devils. I just tested it out. Also understand clearly, they shouldn't be aware of your identity." Speaking of this, Liao Ruyu stared at the silent face. Pause. "However, your identity is too sensitive. It is really not suitable to expose. Isn't your superpower the ability to control metal? Then you take a look. Can a metal mask be made to wear on the face? It's also good to hide one's identity." Liao Ruyu thought of him very carefully. Kindly reminded. Shame Awanian was silent for a moment, then nodded. I think Liao Ruyu has a point. He didn't want to do anything before finding the fish, encountering too many troubles. Simply raised his right hand. Suddenly, from nowhere, suddenly a silvery liquid flowed in. The metallic liquid floated in the air, constantly changing. In the end, I unexpectedly became a crude and flimsy mask. Silence placed it upon his face. Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes lit up upon seeing this. She said with a giggle, "You wouldn't believe it. You look like this. It's quite interesting." Liao Ruyu kept observing the iron mask on the silent face, suddenly frowned and furrowed her brow. "It feels like something is sensed somewhere. Some dissatisfaction. Is it really that difficult? I always feel that something is off. Desolate. Isn't this a bit too simple?" Liao Ruyu before the apocalypse, even studying design abroad. He carefully examined the silent mask. After pondering for a moment, he said, "You do this way. This section is a bit recessed. As patterns. Silence." He was somewhat speechless. However, seeing Liao Ruyu's eager expression, still controlling the power of domination as instructed. After a short while, the clothes can cover most of the cheeks, with two fangs. A fiercely terrifying ghostly mask suddenly appeared in hand. Liao Ruyu was somewhat impatient. Looking at him in silence, he said, "Quick, put it on. Put it on quickly. Silently and honestly follow through." Liao Ruyu's beautiful eyes suddenly brightened, continuously gasped in admiration. "Not bad. It truly lives up to what I designed. This looks really cool. Tomorrow you will wear this mask. I will take you to a place to rest. After discussing tomorrow morning, let's head to the steel factory." The residence arranged by Liao Ruyu. Not bad at all. There is a bed and food. It is a building just like the small box outside. Sitting silently outside, feeling the slightly cool breeze of the night. For a moment I fell into deep thought. This monster, it's something we can't resist at all. Uncle Lin, that beast. I won't let him go even if I become a ghost. Booming sound, like the dusk of the apocalypse. The sky is incredibly deep red. It feels like it's about to collapse. Wet mountain blood sea. The ground is covered with corpses, and the air is filled with the smoke of destruction. In that place filled with thick gray mist, on the towering mountains where beauty continuously surges and erupts, a creature spread its 6 pairs of massive wings, blocking out the sun, as if by magic. A great terror radiating with an incredibly holy white light. The judges of this oblivious group are the deities. He simply emitted a ray, a voice as desolate as that of a spirit. The overwhelming terror surrounding us was like a tide. The zombies came in hordes, thousands of superhumans. Under this immense terror, it surprisingly appeared so weak and feeble. No one could imagine. This is like a realm at the edge of the world. It is the capital city. And the one who provoked him, no survivors. Until now, silence still cannot convey understanding. Why am I able to become the only one who survived? Silence continuously recalls everything in memory. Fragments suddenly flashed through my mind. My head is splitting. A fine layer of sweat appeared on the forehead of Chen Mo. One's own memories. It seems like a fault has occurred at this moment. Silently lowering the gaze. A murderous intent surged in his gaze. Like a fierce ghost from hell. This lifetime, I will change everything. No matter who it is. Nothing can stop me. So what if it's the end of the world, even the gods? The two abilities of Tianquan and Zhuzai, even if it's my greatest weakness. Silence slowly rose from the ground. Her eyes sparkled. We will meet soon. Every morning, Liao Ruyu arrived at the place where Chen Mo rested. I don't know why. The silence behind the mask always feel a bit uncomfortable. But Liao Ruyu was clearly very pleased with her outstanding design. The two of them arrived at a lounge together, still not opening the door. Then they heard an extremely dissatisfied voice coming from within. "Where is that woman?" Why haven't you come yet? We are from the military district. Wait a moment. The young lady went to pick someone up. Picking someone up? I said, just having me and Wang Heaming is enough. Who else do we need? We don't want to carry another burden. Then the door was suddenly pushed open forcefully. Liao Ruyu entered with a fierce demeanor, accompanied by silence. See the visitor. The lounge fell silent in an instant. There are a total of 3 people inside. Wang Heaming, Qiong. There is another person who seems quite submissive, wearing glasses, a delicate and refined young man. Liao Ruyu gave a cold glance at the girl Qiong. From yesterday until now. It's this guy. The situation is the most. They have the extremely rare water of the longang. I can't believe I was so angry that I used it to take a bath. This won't do either. Then don't eat it either. Still insist on eating some cooked food. In this apocalyptic world, it's great to have something to eat. There are still so many conditions. If it weren't for the military personnel, plus Uncle Liao's constant reminders. Liao Ruyu had already reacted upon seeing the visitor. Wang Heaming chuckled. Approach and speak. Miss Liao, for beautiful appearances. Liao Ruyu with a fiery figure. She is a passionate university student, still itching to move, adding to the strength shown by Liao Ruyu yesterday. She inexplicably developed a special fondness for him. Yesterday, she kept flirting with Liao Ruyu, but the other person's proud demeanor, it seems like they looked down on themselves entirely. This deeply pierced Wang Heaming's insecure and sensitive heart. However, Liao Ruyu did not give her a good attitude. In her eyes, Wang Heaming and that Qiong are cut from the same cloth. This is the powerful helper you mentioned. Why are you still wearing a mask? Pout. It's just too ugly. Are you ashamed to be seen? Qiong seemed to have from the very first day, filled with immense hostility towards Liao Ruyu. Couldn't help but mock. Wang Heaming also frowned. I've never seen such a strange person before. Wearing a mask, he looked at her silently and asked, This is? Liao Ruyu let out a cold snort. Qiong glanced and said coldly, Little brat, you should speak with a bit more respect. The power of Chentian. But they are much stronger than you all. Little. Qiong's face flushed with anger. She has always hated it when others say she looks small. Ew. HMPH. I won't hold it against you. The powerful ability users are all in our military district. How is that possible with you? Wang Heaming spoke up. All right. Awaken. Let's focus on the main issue. Uncle Jen said, Come over here and listen to me. Miss Liao. And this old guy too. Let's go in and talk. Willing to express oneself. Wang Heaming spoke with a gentlemanly demeanor. Liao Ruyu's expression finally looked a bit better, pulling in the silence. Wang Heaming was somewhat displeased, but there wasn't much more to say. Liao Ruyu glanced at the people present. Hi, he said with a couple of calls. Let's introduce ourselves to each other. There are a total of 5 people in this operation. We set off afternoon. Liao Ruyu glanced at Wang Heaming and Qiong, turning to introduce the silence. These 2. Wang Heaming, Qiong. They are 2 supernatural beings from the military district. And this one too. It is someone from Longgang. His name is Simo. My ability is a level storm. Can harness the surrounding wind power. Let's all introduce ourselves first. By the way, let me share my special ability. We can also arrange the job assignments. Liao Ruyu appeared to be a figure who could transform the world. Without a doubt, he spoke up. Silence swept a glance over the three people in the room, did not pay attention. Jenkins' incredibly arrogant expression. Most of the ability users in the ink room all have a mindset that sets them apart from others. Can I say, if Silence and Liao Ruyu, if the two of them are not superpowered individuals, Jenkins' behavior will only become worse. But right now, this small team, everyone was very unfamiliar with each other. In this way, it's better to act alone. Silently, he thought to himself, that person wearing glasses, the seemingly delicate boy. Shen Shen said gently, I am a level 1 ability user. The ability is Class C Insight, able to find weaknesses and observe strengths. Insight, such weak abilities. What is the use of this? Jenkins said disdainfully. This guy is coming over. I think it will only hold us back. Qzimo's expression changed. A bit awkward. Liao Ruyu frowned with a sour expression. What do you mean? Qzimo's abilities. It's definitely not as simple as you think. Since both of you are here, so this operation, everyone has to follow my orders. Wang Haoming played the mediator. All right. Qiong, you should say a little less. Qiong and I are both level 2 ability users. Mine is a C-class speed, as the name suggests. Can achieve in a short time. Increase one's speed several times. The same. Surrounding actions. In my vision, everything will also slow down. Jenkins clearly did not want to say much. Wang Haoming felt a bit helpless as well. Princess Qiong is very ill. Uncle Bio is the military district advisor Zhang Heifeng. Gaoju showed some leniency for Zhang Heifeng's sake, also taking care of it immensely. Moreover, Jenkins' abilities are quite remarkable, even in the 6th military district. He is also a being of extremely high status. Wang Haoming continued. Qiong is a Class B mental type ability user. Mental interference, able to control some low-level zombies and mutants. It can also influence the actions of the zombies. Spiritual interference. Silence gently settles in. Unexpectedly glanced at the exceedingly proud Jenkins. This die, it turns out to be the same ability I awakened before my rebirth. If we talk about spiritual interference, that Silence is all too familiar. Before rebirth, I mastered mental interference. Can elevate it to the 6th level. It can be said that an unknown amount of effort has been invested. Chen Mo looked deeply at Jenkins. Jenkins naturally noticed the silent gaze. Let out a soft snort. Displeasure path. What are you looking at? What is your special ability? Chen Mo smiled faintly. I fell.